Hi everyone, welcome to Alex Siberia Design's newest release, Sun-Kissed Memories. I couldn't possibly choose which products are my favorites. This release is absolutely fabulous. Having said that, I really enjoy making all die cut projects. Garden Tweet's layering die set is really a fun and sweet set to work with. What about that cute name, Perfect? I began by digging out my cardstock and choosing my color palette. I wanted a balance of some nice bright colors with ones that were more neutral. For my standout colors, I chose teal, pink, purple, and a bright yellow. To soften those colors, my background is going to be in a dark gray, and some of the accents will be in navy and pale green cardstock. When there's lots of die cutting to do and the die cuts are small, I reach for my Gemini Go. This small electric die cutter allows me to sit comfortably at my desk and do all of that die cutting. The Garden Tweets die set is made up of 3 sizes of flowers and a bird which are layered. To accompany them, there's also a leafy branch and a nice big sentiment smile. For the elements that are layered, I like to work one at a time. So right now I'm just finishing up the die cutting for 2 birds. I'm going to go ahead and put those birds together before I proceed with die cutting the 3 flowers. With the potential to have so many piles of die cuts, for me it is just easier to build as I go. To put the bird together, I first adhere the little breast detail and then adhere the body of the bird on top of the end of the tail. Next, I'm going to adhere the little beak. I have a tiny dot of glue on each of the birds. The die cut is quite small, and so a jewel picker does a good job of getting that small die cut where it needs to be. And now for the eyes, a small drop of glue again, and I pick up those little itty bitty die cuts with my jewel picker and pop it into place. Next, I'll add in a little die cut for the bird's rosy cheeks. And lastly, the bird's wing is adhered with a foam square to give it just a little bit of dimension. Now on to the flowers. The first thing that I'm going to do is die cut the stems and the leaves for all 3 flowers. I'm going to be die cutting multiples, so I keep everything sorted into 3 piles. There are 4 die cuts for the medium and large flower. The small flower is made up of just 2. All of these die cuts will be from various colors, from the teal, purple, pink, and yellow cardstock. As I die cut, I keep all of those flower petal parts sorted out into the correct category of either small, medium, or large flowers. The flowers are easily and quickly put together. The colored illustration on the packaging is a good guide to follow. This is the largest flower that I'm putting together now, and I start off by attaching the wide petal layer directly onto the stem. The small heart-shaped petal layer is adhered on top of the larger one, and then the stem with its wide petal layer is adhered on top of that. The teardrop-shaped die cut is adhered down the center of the flower petals. The flower is flipped over, and then on the back I adhere the 2 little raindrop-shaped leaves. The medium-sized flower is put together exactly the same way. For the small flower, the oval-shaped die cut is adhered on top of the heart-shaped one. It is attached to the stem, and then the 2 little teardrop leaves are attached to the back of it. Had enough die cut images that I could put together a card and 2 tags. Okay, starting with the card, I die cut some dark gray cardstock using the Magic Meadow cover die. I then adhered this to a black A2 size card base. I put some weight on it for a few minutes to ensure that it was completely adhered and laying flat. All of the elements were temporarily laid out. The large smile element was the first thing to be adhered. This is quite a fine die cut word, so after I have applied the liquid adhesive to it, I tap off the excess onto paper towel and then adhere it to my panel. After the 3 leafy branches have been tacked together, more liquid adhesive is applied just along the central stem to adhere it to the panel. This will then allow those leaves to be popped up for a little bit of dimension. That cute little bird is then adhered to the leafy branch with a couple of foam squares. The sentiment strips used on the card and the tags have been created using one of my favorite sets, Expressing Gratitude Sentiments Stamp and Die. All of the sentiments, and I'm thinking there's 21 of them, are stamped all at once, and then they are die cut all at the same time. So these sentiments are actually from another project. I had a whole bowl full of them. Having these sentiment strips on hand is an appreciated time saver. And I'm sure that you noticed that I snipped off a little bit of the navy leafy branch so that the stem end could be hidden behind the flower. And there's one more die cut to be adhered, the little itty bitty dot for the eye, which I use my jewel picker to put in place. And the final touch, the card is embellished with some beautiful white iridescent confetti, which I will top up with Nuvo Crystal Drops Morning Dew at the end when I have the tags made. The tags were die cut using the Signature Tags die set. This is an awesome set that has 2 styles of tags in 2 different sizes. Using the largest tag die, I've cut both gray cardstock and black cardstock. Like the card front, the gray cardstock tags were given some pretty detail using the Magic Meadow cover die. To help the gray tags lay flat, they were adhered to the black cardstock ones and weight put on them until they dried. For this tag, the die cut sentiment was created using Foxtrot alphabet die set. I have a simple high die cut out of the pink cardstock. This alphabet set is really whimsical and fun. The navy and teal leafy branches are adhered by applying the glue just to the central stem area. After the adhesive has dried, I'll then be able to go in and lift up those leaves for some added dimension. Stems have been arranged to highlight the sentiment. The sentiment strip will be adhered over the stem ends with foam squares. And like the card, the bird will also be adhered with foam squares, tucking it in behind the foliage. A craft pick is used to arrange the leaves. Some will sit on top of the bird and others will be tucked in behind. And I also use my craft pick to go around and just lift up those leaves to give them some added dimension. For the second tag, I'll start off by arranging 2 of the foliage pieces and then adding in 3 flowers. The stem ends of the flowers will be tucked behind a sentiment strip adhered with foam squares. The tags, like the card, are embellished with the pretty white iridescent confetti. Both tags are finished off with some pretty ribbon. And then with my card and my 2 tags laid out, I go in with my Nuvo Crystal Drops Morning Dew and top up all of the confetti. When the morning dew dries, it is clear. It gives the confetti a jewel-like appearance that I just love. And that completes this fun and colorful project using a number of newly released products from Alex Siberia Designs Sun-Kissed Memories. But front and center is the sweet and beautiful Garden Tweets die set. I hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to check out the rest of Alex Siberia Designs' newest release. You are going to love it. As always, I appreciate your visit.